Hey,
Hey,
you look good.
you look good too.
But I know Mom and Dad told you about the memorial stuff that we did, and did they tell you about the hawk that flew over?
Yeah, mom said that there was like it after the I think she said that Monica was saying that Cece was playing with the CD player.
Yeah. I, you know, I mean, every time, and there was a brand new CD player, right?
Yeah,
Brand new. And every time Jennifer went to sing, like would start skipping. And Monica was like, "That is CC messing with that CD player,"
it
you
is.
know. And then I think it was during the song that hawk it just flew over so close, and Robert got my attention, and I mean the hawk like looked down on us. It was it was a pretty amazing little sight, and there's a ray of light that's coming through on each picture. It's really beautiful, really beautiful.
That's awesome.
So you know,
It helps me picture it, that's for sure.
well, picture it beautiful because it's very beautiful.
That's awesome.
The prison is quiet in a way that feels unnatural, like the air itself has learned to hold its breath. Somewhere behind concrete walls and locked steel doors, a phone begins to ring. Not loudly. Not urgently. Just enough to break the silence. This is not a call filled with screams or confessions. It's worse than that. It's calm. It's ordinary. And that's what makes it unsettling. By the time this call happens, the world already knows the name Chris Watts. They know what he did. They know the faces of the family he erased. The headlines have long since stopped screaming, but the weight of the case never truly lifted. Justice, at least on paper, has been served. Life in prison. No chance of freedom. A monster neatly locked away. Or so it seems. Because what happens after the sentencing is rarely discussed. What happens when the cameras leave, when the courtroom empties, when the man at the center of it all is reduced to a number and a voice on a recorded line? That's where this story begins. Not with blood, but with a phone call. A call between Chris Watts and his own sister. A call so awkward, so emotionally distorted, that listening to it feels like crossing an invisible line. There's no dramatic music in the room. No warning that what you're about to hear will stay with you. Just two familiar voices trying to sound normal in a situation where normal no longer exists. The kind of conversation that makes you shift uncomfortably, even as an observer, because something feels off from the very first word. As we step into this moment together, take a second to subscribe to Nightfall Detectives. Stories like this don't shout for attention, they wait patiently in the dark. And if you find yourself drawn into the quiet unease of this case, stay with us. Because this call isn't about closure. It's about what lingers after evil has already done its worst. The call begins the way many prison calls do, with a brief mechanical warning, a reminder that every word will be recorded. It's a detail easy to overlook, but in this case, it hangs over the conversation like a shadow. Chris's sister speaks first, her voice cautious, almost rehearsed, as if she's stepping onto thin ice. She asks how he's doing. Not why. Not how this happened. Just how he's doing. Chris answers calmly, too calmly, as though he's calling from a quiet room instead of a cell. They talk about routine things. The weather. His health. The food. Each topic feels painfully misplaced, like small talk at a funeral. There are pauses where neither of them knows what to say next, and in those silences, the weight of everything unsaid grows heavier. You can almost hear her searching for the right words, trying to balance concern with the reality of who he is now. Chris fills the gaps easily. His tone never wavers. He sounds polite. Cooperative. Almost relieved to be talking. That's when the discomfort really sets in. This is the voice of a man who committed unthinkable acts, yet nothing in his speech reflects urgency, remorse, or fear. Instead, there's a strange normalcy, as if he's trying to remind her, and maybe himself, that he's still the same person. At one point, his sister laughs softly. It's brief and nervous, but it lands hard. That single laugh feels wrong, out of place, and instantly swallowed by silence. The conversation stumbles forward, each sentence carefully avoiding the truth sitting between them. If you're noticing how unsettling this calm feels, you're not alone. And if moments like this make you question how well we truly know the people around us, take a moment to like this video. It helps stories like this reach others who listen closely. Because the longer this call goes on, the clearer it becomes, this isn't just an awkward conversation. It's a glimpse into denial, wrapped in familiarity, and it only gets darker from here. As the call drags on, the conversation slowly shifts, almost as if both of them are circling something too heavy to touch directly. Chris's sister brings up faith. Not abruptly, but gently, the way people do when they're searching for meaning in chaos. She talks about prayer, about God having a plan, about forgiveness. Her voice softens here, as if religion might be the safest place to stand when nothing else feels solid. Chris responds immediately. He sounds prepared, like this is a topic he's rehearsed. He speaks about finding God in prison, about reading the Bible, about feeling closer to faith than ever before. There's a strange confidence in his words, a calm certainty that feels rehearsed rather than discovered. He talks about being forgiven by God, about being at peace. And that's where the discomfort deepens. There's no rush in his voice to acknowledge the pain he caused. Instead, the focus subtly shifts toward his own spiritual journey. The conversation becomes less about accountability and more about redemption. His sister listens, occasionally affirming him, but her responses are cautious. You can hear the tension between wanting to believe him and struggling to reconcile faith with the reality of his crimes. Chris frames himself as someone who made mistakes but has now been changed. The language is careful. Passive. Things happened. Choices were made. Responsibility floats just out of reach. And yet, his sister doesn't challenge him. Maybe she can't. Maybe she doesn't know how. This is the moment where the call stops feeling like a family check-in and starts sounding like a performance. A version of Chris crafted for sympathy, filtered through scripture and quiet reflection. If stories like this make you think deeper about how manipulation can wear the mask of redemption, consider sharing this video with someone who follows true crime closely. These details matter. Because beneath the prayers and soft-spoken words, something about this conversation still doesn't sit right. And the silence that follows speaks louder than any confession ever could.
When they got baptized before that, though, right? I think so, yeah.
Yep. Like 2-3 weeks ago, maybe.
Okay.
So,
It's a good thing to happen at a young age, for sure.
yeah. Yeah. We love you.
Love you, too.
And you look good.
You do, too.
You actually look a little bit younger.
What's that?
I said you actually look a little bit younger.
That's because I shaved most of this off, and now I was gonna shave it off today, but I was like, no, I'll just wait till after stuff tomorrow. But I was just like, once they shaved it off, I was like, whoa, that I actually got younger a few years.
It looks really good.
Like an old man before. I was like, wow, that thing got crazy.
Are you nervous about everything? Are you nervous? Are you holding up?
The unknown and everything.
And that's life in general.
Yeah.
You know, none of us know what tomorrow is.
Exactly.
So it can always change. So, but our love for you will never change.
Thank you. It means a lot to hear everybody say that.
We mean it. We really mean it. So that's what love is. You know, it's what it is.
Yeah. Whew.
I really wish I could go back to Mom's porch
I know, me
and
too.
just keep you. I really wish I could just go back there and keep you.
Me too, trust me.
I feel like God gave us that day.
We did.
As the conversation continues, the emotional distance between them becomes impossible to ignore. There are moments when Chris's sister sounds like she wants to say more, when her voice tightens just slightly, as if a question is forming but never quite escapes. She hints at the pain the family is carrying, the confusion, the way everything feels broken now. But each time she edges closer to confrontation, she pulls back. Chris doesn't push her there. He never asks how she's coping, or what this has done to everyone else. Instead, he listens just long enough to respond with something that redirects the focus back to himself. He talks about staying strong, about maintaining routines, about keeping his mind calm. His words are measured, controlled, almost therapeutic. It's unsettling how practiced he sounds. There's a moment when the line goes quiet for a few seconds too long. No one speaks. In that silence, it feels like the truth is standing right between them, waiting to be acknowledged. But when Chris's sister finally breaks the pause, it's with reassurance. She tells him they love him. That they're praying for him. The words land heavy, not because they're cruel, but because of what they avoid. Chris accepts the comfort without hesitation. There's no visible struggle, no emotional crack. He thanks her softly, like this is a kindness he's entitled to. And that's when the call starts to feel less like denial and more like complicity in silence. Not in the crime itself, but in the refusal to name it. If you're still here, stay with us. Stories like this reveal their darkest truths slowly. Consider subscribing to Nightfall Detectives as we move closer to the realization this call leaves behind. Because sometimes, the most disturbing part of a case isn't what's said in anger, but what's left untouched, buried beneath loyalty, fear, and a desperate need to believe. As the call moves toward its end, there's a noticeable shift in energy, like both of them sense time running out but don't know how to use what's left. Chris's sister's voice grows quieter, heavier, as if the weight she's been holding back is finally settling in. She speaks about staying strong, about families sticking together no matter what. The words sound rehearsed, passed down through generations, meant to comfort but now feeling painfully inadequate. Chris responds with gratitude. He thanks her for standing by him, for believing in him, for not giving up. There's something deeply unsettling in how easily those words come. No hesitation. No visible conflict. It's as if, in his mind, the worst part of this story has already passed, not the lives lost, but the moment he was judged and locked away. Everything after that feels like an adjustment, not a reckoning. The conversation never reaches a breaking point. There's no confrontation, no emotional collapse, no moment where reality finally crashes through. And that's what makes this call linger long after it ends. It fades out not with resolution, but with routine. A goodbye. A promise to talk again. The sound of the line disconnecting. What's left behind is a chilling realization. This call doesn't make the Chris Watts case darker because of new details or shocking revelations. It makes it darker because of how ordinary it is. Because evil doesn't always sound like rage or chaos. Sometimes it sounds calm. Polite. Familiar. Sometimes it sounds like a brother thanking his sister for her support. If this story has kept you listening, take a moment to like and share it. These quiet moments deserve attention just as much as the headlines do. Because when the noise fades and all that remains is a voice on a phone line, you're left wondering what's more disturbing, the crime itself, or the silence that follows it. Long after the call ends, the silence it leaves behind feels heavier than anything said during those minutes on the line. There is no confession echoing in the listener's mind, no explosive argument, no emotional unraveling. Instead, there's a calm that feels misplaced, almost unnatural. A sense that something essential was carefully stepped around and left untouched. And that absence is what makes this case sink even deeper into darkness. This conversation doesn't change what Chris Watts did. The facts remain fixed, unmovable. But it changes how we understand the aftermath. It shows how easily horror can coexist with routine, how a voice capable of destroying a family can still sound gentle, reflective, even grateful. It forces an uncomfortable realization that monsters don't always announce themselves. Sometimes, they speak softly and say all the right things. What makes this call especially haunting is the role of family. Loyalty, love, faith, denial, all tangled together in a way that blurs moral lines. His sister's hesitation, her careful words, her unwillingness to push too far reflect something deeply human, the struggle between truth and belonging. And Chris, steady and composed, seems to know exactly how to exist within that space. There is no closure here. No sense of justice being emotionally completed. Just a reminder that consequences don't always come with understanding, and that evil doesn't always demand attention to survive. Sometimes, it lives quietly in conversations like this, hidden behind normalcy. If this story stayed with you, if it made you uncomfortable in that quiet, lingering way, take a moment to subscribe to Nightfall Detectives. Like and share this video so these lesser-heard moments don't disappear into silence. Because at Nightfall, we don't just revisit crimes. We listen closely to what comes after. And sometimes, what's left unsaid is the most terrifying part of all.